I'm Ken. Just like you, I'm a modern astronomer. So this is a remake, an updated version of a video that I created once before, showing you how I use the Celestron Autoguider with my AVX mount, and I do not polar align. And matter of fact, I'm usually getting 3-minute exposures with zero drift at all. I haven't tried longer, probably should. Couple of things that I want to go over. Number one, my mount's out here. This is my front yard. My house is back there about 75 feet. I use a 100-foot USB cable into the computer that I have inside the house. It seems to work very well for me. To align the mount, first you need a little setup. So let's get started. So the first thing you have to do is level the mount. A program called PS Align Pro. See if I can show it to you. So there it is. I'm going to click on it, and that's what it looks like. It's $2.99 for this app. There is a free version, but the free version doesn't give you some of the key features I want to show you. This one is the icon down there. It looks just like a compass. Click on that and see how the compass is. In the middle, there's a, see the bubbles here, and then there's a bubble in the middle. So what I usually do is put it on the mount, and I am dead center right now. I'm going to let you take my word for it. Because for some reason my camera's not working. I'm using the laptop's camera. But the other thing that I do is also with this, I've built this little contraption, which is just a couple Savoni, made a perfect T out of it so I can just put my phone up. So right now I'm at 347 degrees. I know that is wrong because I was doing this last night. So the app tells you that you might have to do this to your phone. And look at that. I'm at 2 degrees north, just what I expect. All right, so let's see if I can bring the laptop a little closer to you. So like I said, that's at 2 degrees north. For what I'm going to show you, that is good enough. Generally, I go perfect right to zero. The reason I'm not going perfect right to zero tonight is because I did this last night, and I'm going to show you the second part now. So the second part, now I'm going to hit done on it, and the second part is called daylight no polar scope alignment. So it has this little arrow here, and what you do is you're going to get the crosshairs dead in the middle by adjusting your mount. So I'm going to put it on first and show you where it's at. Where are you? So right there, see the crosshairs are not centered right now. So I'm going to go ahead and center them. I'm centered now. See the crosshairs dead center now. Just what we want. So now that that's crosshairs are dead centered, now we know the scope is actually pointing at the North Star, which is what we want. So now I'm going to go get the scope, set her up, and let's get moving. Then we'll go back inside and do the rest of it. All right, so I have the telescope on. Tonight I'm using the Celestron 9.25 scope. I have a ASI 2600 here in the back. All the cables are hooked up. I have not to turn it on yet. The one cable that is not on yet is the one that will connect to the hand controller. I leave that off until the hand controller finds all the devices. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. What I did not show you is that I did make sure the mount was balanced, the scope balanced, both directions, so that's all good at this point. Alright, so it's on, it's showing Advanced VX. Now I know that it has found the hardware. So let's go ahead and plug this in. Alright, we are plugged in. Everything is ready. So let's go inside and get this party going. All right, now we're inside. USB's connected. Made sure everything was tight on the telescope because we don't want to be dropping anything, as we know. All right, so let's open up CPWI. If I'm lucky, you guys are going to see something that, yeah, you did. All right, do you see that right there? I had CPWI on, and it's telling me that a part of it stayed on. I always get rid of this and start over. What that is the PhD server, PhD2 server. It stays running, so I have figured out. So let's go here, CPWI. I'm in Task Manager. You can always reboot if you want, but you're just as fine doing this. All right, so now we have it off. Now let's go ahead and turn it back on again. Now, some key features I want to show you on this. So first one we're going to do is we're going to hit USB, because like I said, I'm connected USB. I have learned that the Wi-Fi is shoddy on Celestron, so I do not use it. So what prompted me to remake this is, number one, I left some stuff out that I wanted to make sure that I showed on how I use SharpCap. The other thing I wanted to show is in a Facebook group called Learning Astronomy or Learning Astrophotography, someone had mentioned that their telescope was going straight down to the ground. Mine did that too. So I thought it was important to show you. So if you have not set up your time, if you're not set up CPWI, if you're using it, if you're using the hand controller, you need to do this every single time. That's why I like CPWI better. But the time right now is just after 7 p.m. Today's date is the 22nd. I am north 4016 and west 7538. The first time I did this, this was on negative 75. I would go through the whole Starsense alignment routine, and then all of a sudden the mountain would go totally upside down, facing to the other side of the world. So it's important to make sure this stuff is correct. In CPWI, once you do it, it's always correct. You do it on your hand mount, you need to do it every single time. All right, so there's two different ways of doing this. This is the preferred way. The other way would be hit quick align. I'm not going to show you that, but you can play with that after you figure out how to make it work. I'm going to hit Starsense alignment, okay? I'm going to move you over. I'm going to leave you there. Same time, I am going to go ahead and open up SharpCap. Okay, I only use SharpCap. As you can see, I need to change the size. I have a great big 38-inch monitor, and I use the whole screen. All right, so let's change our ROI back to where it should be, the full ROI on my telescope. Okay, we're going to go down to 1 second. And I might need to move you because of my picture. All right, there we go. The reason I turn SharpCap on now is so that I can make sure that I am focused. So I am still focused from last night. Those are good enough to be able to get stuff. As a matter of fact, I should be able to hit plate solve now. And you can see it plate solve. So now I know SharpCap is going to do what it's supposed to do. If you click on tools and you do not see the ability to go to target and coordinates, that is what we're going to be using. You need to install the AskCom drivers. If you've installed those and you had SharpCap installed first, you need to remove SharpCap after you put the drivers in and then reinstall SharpCap, or else it does not see the drivers. All right, so we are good. I'm going to go ahead and hit Starsense Align. My time's good. My location's good. Let's hit Begin Alignment. Okay, so now the first time you do this, right now, every time you do this, actually, it's always going to ask you if you're on the white lines, which I am. Okay, I'm going to hit ready. The very first time you do this, and if you're going to do it CPWI or with your hand controller, you need to calibrate. What you're doing is getting the distance between the center of the telescope and wherever you have the Starsense Autoguider zeroed in on one another. And that's what the calibration does for you. Mine is calibrated. You only need to do it one time. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit ready. I don't need to calibrate. Like I said, we are not going to polar align. I actually have learned polar align does not work as good as what I'm going to show you tonight. But if you ever want to try to polar align, go ahead. Basically what it's going to do, you're going to hit yes. You're going to pick a star like Vega, and then you're going to, it'll center it what it thinks it's center, and then you go out to the mount and you turn the knobs till you get it centered right where it should be. I'm going to hit no. I'm going to hit auto 4 points, and let's let her rip. All right, I found the first point. A second. We have a third. All right, so now up here, it's going to do the PEC alignment. I shouldn't say alignment. It looks for the error. See, it's saying what the percentage of error was from what it saw. Okay, so now it will use this when it's calculating what it sees in the sky. Okay, so let's hit exit. We are aligned. Now, if we come to this Autoguider, this does not turn on automatically. It should. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. Precise go-to. If you are planning on using the CPWI to do your go-to, I would recommend leaving precise go-to on. However, I find SharpCap does a much better job at centering what I'm after. So I'm going to go ahead and shut precise go-to off. PhD2 server is on. Guiding is always on. And I'm going to leave Meridian Flip on, even though I always make sure that I'm here when that happens so I can recenter using SharpCap. All right, so we're here. So if I was to come here and go to local database, and we'll say I went to Vega here, it would take us to Vega. SharpCap would have that star someplace in this range, could even be down lower. But what I have learned that works best is to just leave this open, come up to Tools, go to here, and let's go to Vega. Okay, type in Vega, we're there. Okay. You don't have to turn this off. Okay, remember I have guiding on. Let's go ahead and hit start. And again, keep in mind, I'm at 200 gain right now. You can see it starting to move. Notice the guiding enabled shut off, because it'll do that automatically because it's guiding. So that's why I don't understand why it just doesn't turn on, or why it's slewing, I mean. And as you can see, Vega's coming up. It's finding it. Look at Vega going right to it. Okay, now this is the cool part. This pretty much thinks it's on Vega. This will put it on Vega. See, it's did a plate solve. Ah, good. I actually was hoping that you guys get to see some of the issues. So right now it found an issue. It does not work because I think I am too much. We're going to go to 400 here. Leave it at 1 second. There we go. I think that's pretty good. And a little brighter. All right, now let's tell it to go to Vega again. What I have found is once you figure out what you need to do for the night, that's pretty much it for the night. I have actually found that 400 and 1 second works pretty good. Sometimes 325 works fine, 300. As you see, I had it on 200. That's because I was, whatever I was doing last night. Let's see, there it is. It plate solved. It's going to put Vega dead center. And the guiding should have turned back on. See, guiding turned back on. Precise go-to's off. And look at Vega, dead center. Now the mount is settling. That's why it's moving. It'll stop in 1 second. All right, so we are on Vega. If I did the calibrate, I could probably get it even better in the middle, but I'm okay with that. So I'm off a hair, but that's okay for imaging, but if you want it better, then you're going to bring out your slew controls. I would shut off guiding and then bring it dead center. But I'm okay with where it's at because when it plate solved, it said Vega's in the middle. So I trust what I get from SharpCap more than I trust what I get from CPWI. All right, so now if we go back to my normal settings, which is 100. Oops, did not mean to do that. All right, so I'm back at 100, 1 second. And we have Vega. All right, so what do we have going on here? Look at this. I'm on RGB 24. So that's because I was on Jupiter last night. There's our Vega. It probably even would have done better if it was on the correct setting. But as you can see, I'm pretty good focused. I'm right in there. Let's go ahead and pick on, seems to me there's a galaxy right over here. Is that it? So here's the cool part. You can click on stuff in here and you don't necessarily have to go to. And you can see what's there. But I need to get my focus back to where I was. There's the galaxy I'm looking for. All right, so this is one of the things I like about CPWI. So that's what we should see. Granted, I'm at F10 right now without my Hyperstar or anything else on to bring it down, but we'll go to that. NGC 6791. Let's see if it centers it. Tools. Let's shut off our focus assistant. And let's go to tools. Coordinates. NGC 6791. It's the open cluster. Let's hit OK. Start, go to. Again, it shut off. Now I'm at 200 here. This is one of the things that I've learned the hard way. A lot of times I'm in too much of a rush to go to something and I forget, and the gain's on 100. When the gain's on 100, it does not always plate solve properly. Sometimes it does. Like today at 200, it did fine. All right, so let's let the mount settle. All right, the mount has settled. So I'm just going to stretch a lot. Let's bring you up and take we'll just do a 30-second exposure. All right, so there's a 30-second. We're a little blurry because I think I'm out of focus, but you can see the cluster slowly right there. So I'm going to get myself in focus and go ahead and take some images now. And then I'll put some of the stuff that I got on this video at different times. Like I said in the beginning when I started, I've tried to do 5 minutes. The AVX mount will tend to cock the picture a little bit. It'll still stay there, but 3 minutes, it pretty much stays exactly where it's supposed to be. It could be because I'm overweighted on the mount. Who knows with this 9 1/4 on it. You know, not sure really what my problem is. But all in all, not bad. Once I get this in focus, I think I'll be able to do a lot better. And the next thing I want to show you now that I'm focused, so that's a 1 minute of it. The next thing that is important to show you about the Starsense Autoguider is with SharpCap live stacking. So with live stacking, actually, I'm going to change you back to 100. I just saw that. And I'm going to go with you down to 30 seconds. So I don't think we really need a 1 minute on that. All right, so I'm going to do live stacking. Okay, look at that. Connection to PhD to guiding successful. So now keep in mind, I have a USB from my computer connected to the mount. And the PhD2 server is built inside that Starsense. And I'm able to connect to it. Matter of fact, if you want to test that you're connected to it, you can do localhost 5555, and there it is connected to it. So that's a pretty cool feature that we have that. So I think this star cluster should come out okay. Other things that I want to show you is shows the status, the histogram. If you're going to do live stacking, it's pretty much where you want. And we change something. So stacking, I usually use default alignment. I just leave all that on itself. So guiding, which is interesting. I don't know if it automatically did this or not because I can't click on those, so I'm not sure. But all the other features work, including the drift graph. So speaking of the drift graph, let's go up to the guider. So this is going to show how much movement the mount is getting. It should be staying fairly close to 0. And so we're going between -3 and 1. And the longer you do it, I've learned, the more it stays there, right to where you want it to be. But all in all, as you can see, I think it did exactly what it's supposed to do. The key features that I like about it is I do not have to do anything other than plug it in and play. The first time you have to do the calibration. Once you do that calibration, you're on. You don't need to do it. And then if you use SharpCap, and I'm sure Nina has the same feature where you can just go to what you want with it and use its built-in plate solving, then for me, it guides it and puts it right in the middle. Again, if I did here and guided it, it might not be dead center, right in the middle. Then the other cool features, as I said, is we get to see guider graphics without having a separate guider scope. You didn't have to learn how to use PhD2 server. There's really, the learning curve was a lot less. The main thing, though, is make sure you have it set up properly. Once you have it set up properly, you're usually pretty good to go. So this is the final of it. So I ended up doing 10 30-second exposures. I'm sorry, 20 30-second exposures. And then I did 13 1-minute exposures. And then this is the live stacking version of it. All I did is bring it into PixInsight. I usually use arc stretch. I used SDF to look at it, but then I use arc stretch to manually stretch it to where I wanted it to be. Then I did automatic background. I did background neutralization on it. I did color calibration on the whole image, and then just picked out a little black spot in here to get the black. And then I paid for Blur Exterminator and Noise Exterminator. Well worth their money, because Blur Exterminator cleaned this thing right up. And then Noise Exterminator just fixed it right up. So as you can see, this came out pretty good for 33 exposures total. Again, some at 30 seconds and some at 1 minute. So right now, I've started what I'm going to do for the rest of the night. It is 8:13. As you saw, we started at around 7. So for the rest of the night, now I'm going to do M20. Look at that little satellite trail right to the beginning. So this is one of the issues with live stacking. That'll stay there. So I'll end up having to use the RAWs on this to make it look right. But usually I use the RAWs anyways, because the live stacking, you're kind of limited on what you're stretching. Works good for clusters, but not so much for nebula and galaxies. But still I use the live stacking, because then I can see if there's any skewing that has happened and if I have to recenter it. So all in all, on this one, hopefully it's come out good. As you see, I'm on 3-minute exposures. I'm at 100 gain on my camera. I usually leave these on auto anyways, because I am quite colorblind. And then we'll see what this looks like. I'll put it up on my website. So again, thanks for watching. Hopefully you got something out of this. Hopefully you, if you have a Starsense Autoguider, you switch to, instead of using your hand controller, to CPWI. And if you're using CPWI, again, I find it works best to work inside SharpCap and use the go-to feature, because it centers everything. As you can see, this thing's perfectly centered. The other thing I should point out to you, with my 8-inch telescope, this would be perfect. All my stars would be perfect all the way around. I wouldn't have this skewing. So this 9 1/4 telescope does not do that, or does that. So I think I'm going to have an edge in my future. I can see that happening now. All right, again, thanks for watching. Hopefully you got something out of this. Again, just like you, I'm a modern astronomer. I enjoy this. I take the ups and downs. I get frustrated some nights because nothing seems to want to work. I get pissed off. Just calm down. Relax. You can get this, because that's all I did, and now things are working much better. All right. Thanks, guys.